What's preseason looked like so far?
It's been great. I think the team's fairly healthy, very healthy, and it's been spirited with good competition. And knock on wood, the guys will play like we've seen them play in scrimmages and practices leading up to where we are right now. It's been really competitive and really fun to watch.
When you had the most holes to fill in the pitching rotation, how'd you end up settling on the guys you did, and why Meyer ends up getting the opening day start?
It was pretty simple stuff. The best guys, the guys who did the best, got the starting nods. And so Meyer, he'll go first, Mosiello will go second, Aon will go third, and Brandenburg will go fourth. And it seems like there's quite a few options in the bullpen that I think we'll like, and in the game with Summers as usual.
What did Meyer do to convince you that he's that number one guy in the last few weeks?
I'm sorry?
What did Meyer do to convince you he's that number one guy in the last few weeks?
Well, he's got great stuff and great ability, and he just pitched really well. He threw a ton of strikes. His stuff was really hard to hit. He seemed very composed and poised, and so he just checked all the boxes like a Friday night starter would, and so he earned it.
What are some of the intangibles for a Friday night starter that you want to see beyond them just having good stuff in their arm?
Well, just being able to handle the game, really being able to slow things down, especially at this level. It gets a little quick sometimes. Adam's a new guy to the level, and most new guys to the level, it takes them a little while to figure it out. And so hopefully Adam won't take too long to figure it out because we're rolling him out there on game one. But he's obviously, for him to have earned that spot, he's pitched very, very well. And so it's been exciting to watch.
New starting rotation, how have they been working in their relationship with Jack and the rest of the catching staff?
Well, very well, and there's a lot of competition at that catching spot. We do anticipate Scanlon to be the guy who goes out with Meyer on Friday night. But Josiah Cromwick's done a tremendous job. Anson Arrows has done a tremendous job. Bennett Thompson has done a tremendous. All of our catchers have done really well. The only kid who would not be available is Logan Postjian right now, who's been out with an injury, and he's extremely talented. When he gets back, there'll even be more depth. But it's been a lot of fun at the catching position. There's definitely some options.
How does your strategy change in a 4-game series as opposed to the typical 3 games?
That's a great question. It doesn't change a whole lot, still subjective, but the key is that obviously you've got 4 games and 9 innings at least to be able to cover, and so early in the season, pitching arms and stuff like that, one of the factors that you don't have late in the season is the fact that those guys aren't built up to where they can go 100 pitches or something like that on an opening weekend start. So utilization of the bullpen, being able to manage the bullpen best, just with where the arms are and their ramp-up time is really important to where we don't get a guy hurt.
Seems like there's going to be a fair bit of competition at several spots throughout the field. Are there 1 or 2 battles that you're going to be paying attention to closely in the first weekend of the season?
Yeah, good question. I think the catching spot I've hit on, it's a really good battle that's going on there. And then the third base spot between Sam Nowitzki and Drew Cowley, I could also swing into the second base spot with Gavin Grant and Drew Cowley. Cowley's a transfer from Cal Poly Pomona that's done very, very well. He's a very offensive-minded second baseman, but he can also play third base. He played all summer at third base, and it was a college shortstop. So he's played very well at shortstop as well. So this kid's a talent, and he's been screaming, put me in the lineup as well. So we've got some good decisions in front of us to make.
Going off of positional battles, you have Jacob Walsh listed at first base. He's a lefty, obviously. He's the only listed first baseman for right now. There's no Ors. Do you see that you'll ever go to a platoon option with him and moving somebody in as a righty going against a lefty, or are you comfortable with his approach against lefties?
He's been really good, and there's other players that could easily play first base for us and do during scrimmages and practice. We've got good competition over there as well. I think Jacob, though, hopefully we don't need to platoon a whole lot, or we don't have to need to juggle him in and out of the lineup. He's a talented kid that we'd like to see him develop, and he's earned those stripes too.
Are there any players in particular that you're looking forward to maybe seeing a little bit out of this series, especially considering it's first series of the year?
Well, I think quite a few. I think that's the biggest key for us is, we lost 3 of our best hitters with Jovan Matthews and Zavala, and so those guys need to be replaced. That's not easy to do. Those are really good hitters. And so guys that, Josh Kasevich, he looks like he's probably not going to be a guy that's going to be juggled in and out. Tanner Smith's got a lot of rope. Anthony Hall's done very, very well. He's got a lot of rope amongst others. But, those key guys I would feel like would definitely have some rope to fail, let's call it. Some of the other spots, not as much rope, but still yet. There's just good options that we have. I really credit my staff. They've done a nice job of putting some options on the table for us to be able to choose from, and the kids have played very, very well.
Have Bryce or Colby separated themselves at center, or is that going to rotate? Or?
It's depending on the day. They both bring their strengths, and so I'm still not sure who would start on opening night. Both of them have been very, very good.
How will you define success this weekend, other than 4-0?
Yeah.
What are the things you're looking, like you talk about, replacing the hitters or pitching rotation? What are those things that you look at and say it was a successful trip if you do what?
Well, you don't want to come out injured. That's for sure. You want to come out 4-0. Those would be fantastic indicators of how things are going to go. But you just really want to play well and get your eyes off the wins and loss column and just really play well and see the kids develop. And some of these guys are just going to have their first college at-bats under their belt after this weekend. And so how they handle stuff, really looking forward to seeing the dugout and how the dugout responds to most of the times things that stink, not things that are a lot of fun. That's usually what you got to manage more than the easy times when things are going really well. So pretty much just want to see the guys play well this weekend. I want to see them play with energy, which I don't think will be a problem on opening weekend for sure. And then obviously how they handle success, but more importantly failures.
You've been a head coach for a while now. Have you settled kind of into a system of how to juggle that early season of trying to get wins, but also trying to rotate in guys and see what you have at a variety of positions?
Yeah, I tried to pay attention a lot of years with Andy Lopez and George Horton. Tried to pay attention when I was a longtime assistant, and now I'm starting to get into my days as head coaching, and so we like to think that we've got a pretty good handle on that kind of stuff too. And it's more of a mix of both of those two systems, what we try to use and see what they did well, and what we want to put on our individual kind of stuff with me and my staff. So it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun getting the opportunity to work at a great place like this with the staff I have. It's fun to come to work every day.
Pretty cool that Tommy Brandenburg, his first taste of collegiate baseball is going to be start on Monday. What did he do to earn that spot on Monday?
He's been really, really good. And for us to basically not give the ball as a starter to Caleb Sloan or RJ Gordon, specifically those two guys in that spot in favor of freshmen over those guys, means that he has done that well. And he really has. He's been good. I thought he would be good. I didn't know he'd be this good. He didn't pitch for us this fall. He got injured during the summertime with kind of a freak injury sliding into a base. And so he didn't play for us this fall. And then this spring he's been 100% in full go. All fall long he had an unbelievable attitude. We were really kind of, it piqued our interest during the fall when he wasn't playing, but still was able to maintain an awesome attitude. To see him when he was healthy, and now he's healthy and he's done very, very well. So for him to be named a starter on this rotation is really a credit to the work he's put in and the results he's putting out there.
Yeah, can you talk about the challenges that San Diego may present for you and your team?
Well, first off, they're going to be energized. First-year head coach Brock Ungricht, former Stanford guy. He's there as a head coach now at San Diego, so that's going to be an energized young program at San Diego. They've always recruited very well. They've got a great ballpark to play in. And the things that are going to test us is they've got a couple of dominant left-handed pitchers. Their Friday night guy, their first guy they roll out, is a pitchability right-hander that can really throw with good command of his pitches, and his velocity is now spiked to about a 93, 94 mile an hour arm, where in the past he was throwing 86, 88. So they've got three at least really legitimate starters. The Saturday guy, the left-hander they're going to throw on Saturday, Mounts, is going to be scouted very, very heavily. It's going to be a weekend series where I can imagine a lot of professional scouts taking a pretty high interest in with the draft prospects that are on both teams.
Well, this competition that's so strong, there's going to be some guys disappointed probably. What's your philosophy as a coach to keep them happy, communicate? Do you let them know they're probably going to be playing this game, or how do you keep them so that they're not upset?
Well, you kind of want them upset a little bit if they're not playing, because that means that they're competitors and they want to be on the field too. You never want somebody happy with sitting on the bench, but you also just need them to be team guys when they are, and I don't have any doubt that any of our guys will be. The key from the coaching staff's part of that is just the communication piece that you hit on. And if we do a great job of communicating with those guys, then they'll understand that maybe opening night start isn't necessarily the final game in Omaha start, which is really the start that you want to strive for. And so yeah, there's always goals in a player's mind, and that first opening day start is a big deal. We can recognize that. But still yet, it's a long season, a 56-game regular schedule season, and so these kids have plenty of opportunity to get in the lineup.
Outside of Colby, who do you see being key contributors in the pen?
Well, Dylan Sabia, right-hand arm from Central Connecticut State that was their closer. He'll pitch in the backside of that bullpen as well. Scotty Ellis has done a tremendous job with Coach Angier in developing his pitches. And a guy that's been here now this is his 4th year, but Christian Schifatelli. He's really impressed us here recently. On top of the guys I've already mentioned, left-handed side, you got Rio Britton, who's got a big arm. Next year he's going to be a heavily scouted player in his draft-eligible junior year. And there's other options there too. So it's a fun time for us, and specifically Coach Angier. He's got some options down there in that bullpen that he can roll out there.
Good. Thanks, Wass.
Thanks, Wass.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.